Add oil to the pot. Turn the pot on to medium heat. Next, blend 5 Roma tomatoes, half of an onion, 3 garlic cloves, 2 spoonfuls of Nordsuiza, this is how it looks, half a cup of water, and then we blend. You may want to blend more than 30 seconds just to make sure that it's well blended. After you blend it, you put your strainer on top of your pot and you strain. Remember, we did put oil in the pot, so this is going to sazonar for at least a minute, maybe 2, just to make sure that it's nice and it's cooked, because we didn't cook the tomato, so we're cooking it now with oil. You want to make sure that you strain this really well. Once it is all strained, you let it boil and you let it cook with the oil. And after it is boiling and it's red, you can add 2 liters of water, which I'm doing now. And this is why you need a big pot, because you want to make sure everything is inside of the water. Next, we're going to start on the meat part, the albondigas, the meatballs, and you're gonna need mint. So what you're gonna do is you're going to remove all the leaves from the stems of the mint, and all we're using are the leaves, no stems. You want to chop the mint really fine, just so that all the meat can be covered by it. The smaller the piece, the more it's able to get into all the meat. So how I like to do it, I like to grab it all in a little bunch. Like I put it in a little in the middle, and then I grab my knife and I fix it all together in one spot. I tighten it very closely to the knife, and then I just bunch it up together real quick like that, exactly like that. And then I grab my knife and I just cut like if I'm doing the cilantro, like just cut. And then I chop away. You are going to need 1 egg and 1 cup of rice for this. We are opening the 1 pound of meat, ground beef. I don't know the meat ratio. I just grab it from the from the carniceria. I have a family of 6, and this does feed a family of 6. Right here I'm adding a little bit of mint, a little bit of rice, and of course the egg right in the middle. And I'm just gonna alternate again some meat. Then I'm going to add the rest of the rice, and we're gonna add the rest of the mint. And here, this is where you season everything, so you really want to add the salt, the pepper, and I also like to add a little bit of Nor Suiza, just for the extra, the extra salt content. Now this is the part where it gets really nice and messy, so I like to squeeze the meat in between my fingers just to get it through, get everything inside. We're just literally mixing it, mix. A method that I like to use is I squeeze through my fingers, and once it comes around, I just keep going. I keep alternating the movements and move everything around, and then after I get everything, I feel like everything is combined, I just squish it like if I'm doing masa. You just go for it. Like if you're doing dough, you're mixing dough for something, and this actually really does get all of the rice and the mint, salt, pepper really combined. After you've done all your mixing, you're going to roll them into balls. So meatballs, right? In Spanish, this is called Sopa de Albondigas. And you don't want to make the meatballs really big. You just want to make them like person size, like how much one person would eat. Not too big. And if you do want to do them big, that's fine. It's one big meatball per person. But just because we all like to eat it, little by little, I do make them medium size, just so that we can have enough. Everybody just grabs 4 or 5, and you get your fill. Because we are cooking the meatballs from raw, we're cooking them raw into the soup. It does have lots of oil, so I mean, it tastes really good. It's really rich, but after it cools down, you can like seep out any of the oil that floats on top. I learned this method of cooking the albondigas from my mom. She usually makes it like this. She of course adds her, her sazon, but this is exactly the way I make it every time. So at this point, I'm going to start adding them to the pot of boiling water. So you want to make sure that they're that the caldo is super hot. You don't want it to be not even, you have to see bubbles coming out. So that way, when you add the meatball inside, when you add the meatball to this soup, it literally starts cooking at the moment you dip it in. The good thing about this recipe is that you don't need a lot of space to make it, but you do want to put all the meatballs inside of the boiling pot at the same time, only because you want to make sure that the rice is fully cooked all together with all of them. So make sure you roll your little meatballs. This recipe actually made me 18 meatballs, and that's because I made them a little bit big. But I think that's the perfect size. The size I made them, it was perfect for the soup and for each person. When you are adding the meatballs to the soup, be careful, do not drop them super fast because you don't want to get burned. And also make sure you're not putting them together, like you want to give them some space in between. Here I am cutting the carrots. I washed and peeled them. I don't like peeling the potatoes because I like the flavor and the texture it gives when you boil the potatoes. And I also feel like it gives them more vitamins, you know, because I'm making this soup for my family. Yeah, it's getting really tough with COVID around, so I'm making lots and lots of caldos. For the potatoes, you want to make them kind of the same size as the carrots, only because you don't want the carrots to be undercooked. So keeping everything the same size is better for your cooking. I didn't end up using that potato. I felt like I had enough potatoes, so yeah, 4 potatoes. The caldo is boiling. I added the meatballs earlier, and as you can see, they are floating to the top. Once the albondigas, the meatballs, are floating to the top, that's how you know it's ready to put. You're ready to put the vegetables. Oh, wow. So in the vegetables go, and you let it boil for a little longer, and there you go. This is the end product of the caldo. The balls are so tight, they are fully cooked. You can tell the rice is nice and fluffy. You can also tell from those potatoes, they're practically peeling off themselves. So that's it. Thank you for watching.